Hello and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat, where we will be reviewing the very close Port Adelaide game where
nail-biter.
Went down by
Very
a few
close.
goals in the end. 21 goals, 14, 140. Port Adelaide plays Carlton 5-15, 45. So by my calculations, that
Edge
is
of your seat.
5 points. Which, to be honest, if we didn't have that sort of good start, could have been a lot worse. Like, imagine if they were just on from first bounce and we were just off from first bounce, it could have literally been 150 points. But anyway,
Imagine that. Fuck. Imagine that. Imagine if we didn't
I
start
don't
well.
want to.
I actually wanted to know
Don't
what
want to.
would happen.
if they kicked another goal and they had won by 100 points, Jack, Speechley, when was the last time we lost by 100 points?
That would have been round 23, 2018, I believe.
Yep. Adelaide versus
Against the
Adelaide.
Crows. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Cooper did he get the 3 votes that game anyway? And we still lost by 100
Yeah,
points?
yeah, 2, I think.
Oh, 2, yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? All right, we'll get stuck into our predictions recap. I'll try and not mention mine too much because I was probably the furthest off. I was definitely the furthest off. Daft, do you remember what you had, mate?
I have no idea, but I tipped Port by a fair bit, I think. But yeah, it turned out to be that way. Got a bit excited when we were 4 goals up, but I knew it was going to happen. We were going to shit the bed like we usually do. So, yeah.
So you knew it was going to happen. 95 points, though. Did you think that was going to happen?
No, but about 5 minutes into the third quarter, I knew we were going to lose by 90.
Yeah.
You just tell.
Really?
Like, yeah, easily. You can tell they don't give a fuck. They just lost. Defensive efforts weren't there, and pressure wasn't there. And we'll blame Cripps and Teague somehow.
Yeah, it'd be Cripps' side. I didn't play. That was interesting. Harry Murphy was injured. Mitch, remember what you had, mate?
I had Port by 18, so at least I got the team right, but obviously the margin was very off. I had Mitch going to kick 2. He kicked 1 goal too. He kicked a very shit set shot straight in front of goal, probably about 25 meters out, and he sprayed it. That was very disappointing.
Shit.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. And also Brody Kemp to impress. He wasn't great, but I don't really want to be too hard on him. He had five touches, but he also had 3 tackles, which I thought was not our worst, but
he looked a bit, I don't know, out of his depth.
just lost.
Just
looked really nervous. Looked really nervous. And I'm like, you look at him. Sorry. So you guys say.
What did you think of Durden first game?
That's what I was going to say. Like, I thought that difference from Kim to Durden, I thought Durden did not look nervous at all.
Different role, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, three different roles as well.
Like,
Yeah.
pressure up forward. It's not so much pressure, I guess. Like, you got the ball, because our fucking transition defense is so shit. So the ball keeps coming back in there. So Kempy's like, fuck, when's the next ball coming in? You got Boaks and Wines kicking it in. So obviously he's shitting himself a bit. But yeah.
That's
and also like Kemp, and then
sorry.
And then also like Kemp, he also got. You got to match up with Georgiades. That's a pretty tough debut. So Sorry, Jack. What did you have?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So I was technically the closest, and I thought I was going a little bit outlandish with my Port by 40. Clearly didn't give the opposition enough credit with me tip, but
you gave us too much.
But I had Jacob Wiedering to keep Dixon goalless. That didn't happen.
Wow.
Kick 4?
For that performance, I reckon that 4 goals is a load of shit. He absolutely killed Dixon. And then Dixon got a cheap free kick, which got him his first touch of the game in the end of the third quarter or something, wasn't it? Something like that.
Don't know.
And by the way, umpiring, Jesus Christ, what has happened to the AFL?
Yeah, the umpiring, we won't touch on it too much, 95 points, We can't blame the umpires too much, but the umpiring in that game, then I think it was a Richmond game as well. There were a couple of decisions in the first few minutes that cost Jack Grewald a very nice goal as well against free kick against Tom Lynch. It was all pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting week there. But yeah, I had Blues by 13.
Good call.
I don't bother. Obviously, I was 100 points off. Murphy for 25 disposals. He had 24.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, that's probably the closest I got really. So moving on, there's probably not too many of these moments, but we'll try and find a couple. Mitch, what were your best moments of the game, mate?
My best moments was Josh Honey. He just looks like he's made for AFL. He was really good. 2 goals, 9 disposals, but I feel like his pressure acts were just very good. As I said, he just looks like he's made for AFL. And also Matt Candy, I thought he was by far our best player on ground. 28 disposals with 7 tackles. I thought that was absolutely terrific how he played, and I well and truly think that he has earned a contract for 2022.
Yeah, you think so? You play well. Dash, what did you have, mate?
Yeah, my best moment was probably Honey's goal, which was our last goal of the game?
Yep.
That little snap, our last goal of the game. Fuck me.
In the second quarter.
It was a great goal. It was a great goal to finish off the day. Carlton went to sleep after that, but it was a good goal. Like Mitch was saying, he just looks like he's meant to be there. He's made that position his own, and I think I almost think his form's almost, pushed Eddie out.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Jack, what was your best moments of the game, mate?
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't watch the game because I was at work, and then I saw the score and could not bring myself to watch the replay. I could not put myself through it. But I think I did see, Murphy getting cheered off by Cribber and Ed. I think, not Cribber, obviously he didn't play. Murphy, he left it all out there one last time when he had 24 touches, 5 tackles. It's the best game he's probably played for a long, long time, and to leave it all out there, it's a little sad, but.
Quarter too. I don't know if you boys noticed that. He obviously a lot of players went to sleep after the first quarter, but he started so well in the first quarter. You're like 2022.
Yeah.
Were you glad? Obviously, Jack, you work sometimes during the games, and at the end, from what I understand, you don't check the score the whole time, and then you watch it at the end. Were you almost somewhat happy that you checked the score and didn't put yourself through watching 2 to 3 hours of misery at midnight, or?
Yeah, I didn't check the score. I was just scrolling through TikTok, and then it came up, and I was like, "Oh, well, rip." So yeah, I was like, "Oh well." But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I was kind of glad I didn't, especially us being up by 4 goals in the second quarter, and then to fall asleep. That would have been pretty shit to watch. But no, I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it.
Now, for my best moments, first quarter was good. I thought 23 points, I think it was. Kennedy's big monster tackle and goal was pretty good as well. And obviously, as you said, Josh Honey's since he came in a few weeks ago now, he's proven himself to be all quality. So it's good to see these young blokes getting a go and playing well. All right, this one might be a little bit easier for us. So we'll move on to worst moments. Daff, what did you have, mate?
Wow. There's so many. I can't really pick out one because my mind went blank about midway through the third quarter. Just literally gave up, which I've done plenty of times watching this football club. But just the lack of awareness and pressure. And why does it drop off? I don't get that. I've never seen a team drop off pressure that much. You might see a team drop off for 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, but we let them kick 19 straight. What the fuck? The record's 23. What the fuck's got 19 goals straight?
I think it was quarter time, maybe half time, but I think it was quarter time where our pressure acts, and they've got all these different stats now, so I'm trying to understand half of them. But the pressure acts was in the elite category. Our first quarter was exceptional, and we arguably, not that it matters in hindsight, but could have been up by a lot more. A few missed opportunities. So, but yeah, that was pretty disappointing. Anything else to add, or?
No, nothing else, mate.
Beautiful. Mitch, what'd you have, mate?
Yeah, obviously we can go through so many, but I'll just go through the basics. Skill errors was an absolute joke. I don't know how AFL footballers who get paid that much can have skill errors that bad. One that came to mind was Lockie O'Brien. You boys know that I love Lockie O'Brien, but that kick out on the full, I was just like, how do I like this guy so much? I don't understand how this guy was pick 10, boys. Pick 10.
Why do you like him so much?
I just feel like he just has the kind of style that he has a great left foot kick. And There's
Clearly
times when he's
not.
tough for the ball, but there's times when it's a bit like Jack with Plowman. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Solid
explain. I
goal.
mean, I love.
With
I think
Plowman.
Jack with Plowman could be somewhat sexual, but that's all right. Speech, have you caught any of the highlights at all, mate? Do you have any worst moments you can provide us with?
Look, the only thing I could say is how do you concede 19 goals in a row? Like, I don't know much from the game, but I don't know what caused momentum swings, what happened. But regardless, you think after 5 goals, you might try something different. Maybe after 10, maybe after 15, you might try something different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, no,
right.
I agree. Yeah, so obviously with my best moment, I had the first quarter. With the worst moment, I'm not going to put it down to one thing. It's too hard to do that because there was many of things that contributed. They beat us in most stats, except probably turnovers. I don't know. Yeah, so I got second, third, and fourth quarter for my worst moments, and farewelling a 300 game champion of the club like that, to be honest, is pretty pathetic. But obviously we had quite a few key players out. The Carlton medalist out, Cripper out, Jones, obviously a few others, Chawani. But just to play like that was pretty upsetting and pretty disappointing. So, all right, not too much else to add from that. So we'll move on to our top 3 players. If you actually have that many. Mitch, who do you have, mate?
I don't have a top 3. I just have a best player. As I mentioned before, Matty Kennedy. I thought he was great. And as I said before, he's truly earned a contract for 2022. Speechly.
Yeah, sure.
Cheeky there, Pato.
Beautiful, mate. Daff, what do you have, mate?
Yeah, so I had a top 3. We did have a few players that were probably worthy. My best was Matthew Kennedy.
Yep.
I think he's probably been our best player since round 14, apart from Walsh, in my opinion. Since that Giants game, whenever he came in, it's been pretty good. It's really improved, playing in his normal position, which is great. Second, I had Walsh. He had 30 touches. The guy had 2 touches in the last quarter. So he had 28 at 3/4 time.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucked, mate. Like 30 touches, Walshy stuff. And I had to put Murph in just for his last game because, we'll never speak about Murph again on Baggers Chat, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Well, we may. You never know. Maybe coaching in some sort of coaching capacity. We never know.
And then we ran about him because all our coaches suck. Yeah, what?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Jack, you don't really have a top 3, do you?
I mean, off stats, that's all I know. I mean, Walsh, Kennedy, and Murphy, as Daff said. Can't really go past that.
Yep, no, too easy, mate. So I've got Walsh, obviously, as we've basically all mentioned, except for Mitch, because he doesn't like him, apparently. 30 disposals, 10 kicks, 20 handballs, 6 tackles. Kennedy, I agree, been the best since, around 40, whatever it was. 28 disposals, kicked a goal, a pretty good goal too, and laid 7 tackles. And I also had Willow. I think Willow's playing fairly decent. Like, he's certainly no world beater, but I think he's he's not contracted for next year. He definitely will be.
He's strung a few games together, which is good. I think the VFL doesn't help some blokes, especially him, because he seemed to struggle a little bit in the twos. But when he comes to the ones, he plays all right. Like maybe just playing with better players around him or the environment. I don't know. There's something just seems to step it up when he's in the top grade.
Built for the big stage, mate. No, I think he's played pretty well for the last few weeks. All right. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we'll throw it to Jack. Speak up, Speechy, mate. What do you have for us?
It's a bit of a tough one when you haven't watched the game. I think it's mostly just more on the club rather than the on-field performance during the week. The report coming out that they weren't gonna release the review. I think it's very, very frustrating as paying members of the club to not actually know what's wrong with the football club. And then, the passing over the new president today with Luke Sayers coming in. It's just a whole load of bullshit, really. There's not much else to say about it. It's just a little disappointing the way the club has handled the whole season, both on field and off field. And I think, honestly, a 95-point loss on the weekend, pretty much. I mean, it's what we would deserve, really, as a football club, not us as supporters, but with the way the football club is treated everything this year. I think, they kind of deserve a big loss.
Yep.
Oof,
Couldn't have said
all
it better myself.
Yeah, that was good, mate. I like that. Well said. All right. So I have a few questions for you boys. I'm going to mention a few topics to sort of get some conversation flowing. Just act like the cameras aren't there. All right. So Mark Lagudashe.
Yep.
Obviously,
Rabagilly.
Rabagilly, yeah. He's obviously the last week as president before he hands over to Luke Sayers. So he's been there 12 years as director, 8 years as president. There's been, we say what we want to say, there has been some off-field, I guess, sort of, I don't know if success is the right word, but off-field achievements, I guess. Obviously an AFLW license, played the opening, the very first AFLW match, which I was there. It was pretty good. We are debt-free as well, and then also 81,000 members, which is obviously a record, but it will be interesting to see what happens next year. Obviously with half, I don't know how that actually works, because it's obviously not half the members, and not every member must have got a free membership to gift, so I'm not sure how that works, because what was it last year? How many members?
67.
Yeah, so you would think, what's that, 14,000? That's not even including some new members potentially. They got the free membership, so not everyone obviously got it. But it will be interesting to see how many of them hold up, and if it drops back closer to 70,000, especially if we play, like we did last week against Port, this week against GWS. So it'd be interesting to see. But I was going to get your guys' opinion as well. So Luke, especially Jack's, because he's been quite vocal about it. So Luke Sayers, he's been there 8 years now, I believe. I believe as part of the new changes they're looking to bring in, which a few obviously members, a few supporters, Vince in particular, isn't happy with. I believe one of them might be to extend, and I could be wrong, it is to extend their stay and their stint, so Luke Sayers gets a bit of a longer run at presidency. My question to you boys is: we want to get rid of John Barker. He retired. A few other people we want to get rid of because they've been part of this mediocre club for the last 10, 15, 20 years. Why are we putting Luke Sayers as president then when he's been there 8 years and he knows nothing but on-field failures? So why do we want to give, making the president of the club? Why don't we just completely get rid of the board? And I understand these people's jobs are talking about or whatever, but why don't we just get rid of the board, put some new people in, fresh blood in? Jack, what's your thoughts on that?
It's all money, like the club, all they care about is money. Like on-field performance, doesn't mean anything to them. It's quite obvious now, we're shit. So, they're going to blame the coach rather than, the board who's been there forever and a day. As you said, we've been shit the whole time. So, we go through coach after coach, but with the same board. So maybe, the coaches aren't the problem. Maybe it's the one constant that is the problem. That is the board.
I agree, mate. Well said. Daff, what do you reckon, mate? So same sort of opinion, or you dip it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Their priority isn't on-field success at all. You can tell throughout Lagudashe's whole time as president of the club, we've been fucking awful. Done a whole rebuild and we're still shit. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say because I don't want to, just think Sayers is going to be shit. Because sometimes if he comes in and maybe he might have had a different view to Mark and he might, change things up, hopefully. But
he's a bit more cutthroat, I believe, isn't he? He's a bit more.
Yeah. So I hope he's good. Like we all should at least hope. Otherwise, without hope, what's the point of supporting the footy team?
We've been holding on to hope since we've started following this footy club, mate. I hope that one day they'll be decent. We've been let down ever since. Mitch, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, same as Daff and Jack also. Just I think Luke can be all right, but also just to touch on the board and like how they might be losing their jobs and stuff. Have they ever actually thought about the senior coach, David Teague? Like the way that he has actually been treated over this. I mean, so many reports have come out. If the review comes out that they highlight David Teague as a problem, sack him now. Sack him because his press conference on Saturday night, the way that he's talking, he still thinks he has a job next year. If he goes into round 23, he coaches his heart out, ends the game, goes into preseason, and then he gets a tap on the shoulder saying, oh, actually, nah, mate, we're actually not going to go with you. We're going to go with Clarkson next year. That's the biggest disrespectful. And they did the exact same thing to Brett Ratton. Like, don't get me wrong, I love this club. You boys know, like, I'm sure you boys love this club as well. But the way that we are treating, I mean, like they say, just like roles and stuff. Yeah, we sacked John Barker. He was there for 10 years. David Teague's been here for 2 years as an assistant, not even 2 years. He's been here for he's been here such a short amount of time. And there's been so much speculation about Clarkson taking over, Ross Lyon, Nathan Buckley putting his hand up. Mate, he's still got the fucking job. He's still got the job. Give the guy some respect. He's the senior coach of the Carlton Football Club. Give him some respect. And it's either you know now. If you know that he's not the guy, sack him now.
Or at least come out. From what my thing is, at least come out, because this bloke has been, been absolutely, bashed in the media. Come out and say we haven't made a decision. Stick by him. You made the decision to put him there. At the end of the day, you made the decision, whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision now after a few years, it's not for me to say. But in terms of they put him there, at least come out and actually protect him. Say, like, well, it's because it's not good enough. I mean, at the end of the day, like you can tell that bloke is like drained. And at the end of the day, he's still a human being. He's still an ex-Carlton player. Like, a bit of support for the bloke. Daff, what are you going to say, mate?
I completely agree with your point, Mitch. I reckon it's all started, all this bullshit talk has started probably since we did the review, started the review. Like, as soon as you start, like, they've hurt themselves, the club. I know we needed a review ASAP, right? But as soon as they started that, when did the talk start? Straight after it. They don't talk about any other fucking role. They talk about him. They talk about the head coach all the time. And that obviously is going to affect on-field performance, right? Like, it shouldn't affect on-field performance to lose by 95 points, right? But imagine your boss at work, right? It's all over the news. Like, you're mates with him, right? Your boss is your mate, and he's all over the news about him getting sacked.
Yep.
Like, what? Like, it's going to make you feel like shit. I'm sure Walsh is going out there like, fuck, like, we have to win for this guy. And it's just, so many things going through their brain. Like, no wonder why they lose by 95 points and collapse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to think about it like different perspective.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, I mean, we hope, obviously, the review is all, obviously completely finished. I believe Luke Sayers has all the findings from it as well now, and that will not be released to us, but that will all, I guess the changes will start basically straight away. So we'll see what happens to Teague. Obviously, if you just take anything from the media, he doesn't look like he'll be coaching next year. So I don't know who will be, but I just hope whatever comes out of the review, if they're not going to tell us, they're not going to tell us, but at least
be clear about it.
At least change it. So if it comes out that Teague's the issue, I would be surprised personally, but in terms of he's the whole and sole issue. But if it comes out that's how it is, I expect him to change it. I expect him. It comes out that Luke Sayers. But am I right in saying a lot of people say the review's about everything? He brought the review in. I think it's more focused on the playing group, isn't it? From what I was reading, apparently it's more focused on the playing group and their groups and all that sort of stuff. Is that correct or not?
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so I'll look into it a bit
We
more.
don't really get told much about anything. So
yeah, from what I saw, they say it's a review of the whole football club, which I have no doubt it probably is. But from what I was reading, it was more of a focus into the players, which aren't necessarily the issue either, in terms of the way they're playing. But like we say it every week on list, our players are actually fairly decent. We've got the Coleman medalists, we're talking about potential Brownlow medalists. Like, it's interesting. But yeah, hopefully whatever comes out of the review, hopefully some changes get made, and hopefully it's the right changes. Just obviously, I think we all want Teague to say, is that true? All three.
Yeah.
1 year left in the contract. I don't think it would hurt. Can I just say he was to go? This is a question for you boys. Who would you want? Obviously, Clarkson is the one that everyone's talking about. I'm sure if it was on Sportsbet, he'd be the favourite because I think Don Pike's the favourite. I think I noticed. But yeah, so who would you want? Like, obviously, Clarkson's the one they're talking about. But from what I've seen in recent history, Clarkson's a champion coach, don't get me wrong. But champion coaches go to new clubs and actually don't go as well. From the research that I did, like Moldhouse, probably the main one, I guess. But I guess he came from West Coast and went to Collingwood. Collingwood to Carlton. And just in general, a few premiership coaches or successful coaches have gone to other clubs and not done as well. So you look at the most recent coaches have been, have taken them a few years, and they have, albeit they've been out of, from under Clarkson, we ended up with old mate Bolts, but who didn't do as well as the rest have done. But from what I've seen, it's always been pretty newly found coaches, not ex-coaches coming in. So who do you want to see coaching the footy club? If it's not David Teague next year, Ethan Daffy.
It's a big call, mate. Well, I've got maybe three options. Wow, the third option's a bit of a Hail Mary, but the first two options, I think Ross Lyon will coach Carlton. That's my thinking. I think Clarko might be a chance for a Collingwood job. And this name has been pulled out of the media by a certain Kane Corns, Jack's favourite mate, Nathan Buckley.
Yep. Yeah, interesting to say that, and interesting that's been called out. My dad wanted Buckley like a month ago. He was a few months ago. He's always talking about it, saying that that'd be the best kick in the face.
Why not? Like, why not?
Yeah, well, I mean, imagine that. He comes to the Blues, gets his premiership that he's tried at for however long. Imagine it's against Collingwood. Imagine that. I want to go to Jack because the whole time Ethan was speaking, all I could see was Jack's hair.
I just cringe at Ross Lyon. I just cringe.
Ooh.
I can't do it. I can't do Ross. I don't know what it is. I just can't.
You can't do winning games.
I just can't do Ross.
Mitch, David Teague, if he's not coaching next year, who's coaching, mate? You go.
I'm pretty sure it's just two options, Ross Lyon or Alistair Clarkson. I actually really like Ross Lyon. I think he can be a great coach. I think he would be a great coach for the group as well, just because of the players. And Clarkson also, of course. But I want to try and keep away from Nathan Buckley. Love the guy, but Collingwood.
I can't get another ex-Collingwood coach in. No.
To me, exactly right. To me, it's an ex-Collingwood coach. Like, why are we going down that path again? So that's just to me. I love Nathan Buckley. I think he's a great coach. But me personally, my gut feel, if David Teague isn't there next year, I think it's the same. Ross Lyon. I reckon Clarkson will probably go to a Gold Coast. I reckon AFL will probably chip in. And yes, I reckon the AFL will chip in and send a whole lot of money to Clarkson and say, we need you at Gold Coast, because Gold Coast aren't surviving, quite simply. And I feel like Clarkson would be a great coach for him. But I think it's either Ross Lyon or Clarkson.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's good. All right, I've got a bit of I'm going to take the floor for a couple of minutes here. All right?
There we go. Samuel's anecdote.
All right, so this is sort of recent coach and how long it took them to take him to the big time and win a grand final. So Damien Hardwick took over the Richmond Tigers in 2010. If I do say anything that doesn't sound right, pull me up on it. All right, I'm not best at researching. So Richmond finished 15 out of what was a 16-team competition then. Obviously, no Gold Coast, no GWS at the time. Then they finished 12th out of 17. Gold Coast were introduced in 2011, and 12 out of 18. GWS are there in 2012. 2015, they finished 5th, and we all know what happened there. Lost to us in the elimination final. Then they made finals in the next few years as well, but obviously nothing really eventuated of it. They fast forward to 2016, they finished 13th with a loss of 113 points to finish their season. 2016 or end of 2016, they have an external review, which I believe, I was reading a bit of it, some of it was made public. They then pick up Prestia, Nan Curvers, Josh Caddy, who all play in their 48-point win in the 2017 grand final the next year. I'm not saying that's going to happen with us at the end of the day, but he had 2 years left as well on his contract, so it's a little bit different. I believe Teague only has 1. Is that correct?
Yep.
So what would be the issue in, I don't know, it's been, we put up with 20 years of mediocrity or, however long he's been alive for. What's the issue of giving him 1 more year and just saying and giving him KPIs, this is what he needs to meet. If he doesn't meet them, show him the door. And I get everyone's looking at Alistair Clarkson, and that's why they want to run. I think that's a lot of the reason why they want to, because he's available right now. He may not be available then next year. And I think that's what people are getting a bit sort of feisty and a bit more get him in now because they're worried that he won't be available next year.
Yeah.
How do you even know he's the right choice for the Carlton Footy Club? I mean, who does? But anyway, Dimmer even said that he came I forgot this bit. At the end of 2016, he came very close to sacking him. They gave him the benefit of the doubt. He came out and won the grand final the next year. So there's something to consider. Why are we so? This is basically the whole point. Why are we so quick to jump down a bloke's throat who everyone wanted to be the coach 2 years ago?
Because we're scared. We're scared because if we're back in Teague, like I'll back Teague next year, but what if we're shit again next year?
But what happens?
What happens if we're shit? If Alex Clarkson comes
exactly
in?
right.
So,
like,
yeah,
I
get
just
that.
another year of
that.
bad shit.
It's a risky business.
Brown, Shane Crawford, like Sam Mitchell. He had out and down AFL champions in his team. I'm not saying we had the same list, a better list, a worse list, but it still took him years to make the finals and eventually win his all his grand finals. Like 2 years. Is it 2 full seasons or is it? David Teague
Yes.
Well, it's his first 23 game season.
Yeah, like he's like a chance, I reckon. That's my opinion, and it's probably not going to matter because realistically, from what we hear in the next week, we won't have a coach, and then however many months after that.
I hope to God you're right, and he stays. Like I hope, like for the guy himself, like.
And why the board? It's up to the board basically, which is getting we think reviewed. If the review looks at that, they may not even be there. They may be a new board, so they're going to get a coach, and then a new board comes in. It's very. To me, the bloke that has 1 year left on his contract that's only been there at the helm for a couple of years should be kept safe. And the people that have been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years in Luke Sayers, they should be the ones that have moved on and then get a new board in, then give them a year with Teague. If they decide to stick with the bloke, it's up to them, whatever. But get rid of the old people before you get rid of the new people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. Like, Teague's actually contracted for next year. I think that's also what he's thinking. Like, well, I don't know what all the talk's about. I'm contracted next year. I'm coaching this club.
How are you going to afford to pay? If we bring Clarkson in, I could be wrong. So, as far as I'm aware, it's 60% Hawthorn, 40% Carlton, or could be the other way, something like that. Because of what he gets. Like that. And then we're still paying David Teague out. Like, I don't know. Like, this sounds better for me. From what I get rid of the old people that have been there, for ages before you get rid of the person that hasn't had a crack. Like we've shafted him big time. Not us, as in the footy club is shafted.
Totally agree.
In my opinion.
Yeah, like I think that's also. I think Teague has a little bit of the Clarkson when he took over Hawthorn because by memory, I think when Clarkson took over Hawthorn, they weren't to crash off.
Oh shit!
That was shit house.
Terrible.
That was shit house.
You talk about mergers and all that were happening.
Yeah,
happening like probably a bit before, but like even still, like they were. They're going to fold. They were not. I mean,
not good.
We're lucky in terms of being such a wealthy club and historic club and having lots of wealthy supporters. But like Hawthorn was very, very bad.
Yeah.
And
like I think they need to actually look at the stats and the games that he's coached. Yeah, he might be a little bit too close to the players, but doesn't that build the culture? I don't know if that's just me, but. Wasn't Hardwick the same?
Damien Hardwick and from what I see from the outside, Damien Hardwick and Dustin Martin, like they're pretty.
They're best mates.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Interesting. What's on being close to the playing group? I mean, I know I still feel that David Teague's a person that can be close to a playing group, but be subjective in terms of. No, we should. I think that was shown with Murphy. Yes, he got to his 300s, but when it was came the time to, I guess. Drop him or make him a medal, something Murphy wasn't happy about. David Teague was more than happy to do that. Like in terms of, it's good to have a relationship with the players, but keep subjective and make the calls you need to make, which I think David Teague is capable of doing. But it's not about what I think. It's not about what we think. So why
exactly right.
Why does it matter? All right.
Who knows?
Anything else to add? I don't have a scarf on this week.
I think you absolutely hit nail on the head, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm done.
No, you're spot on.
Good job, Sam.
Spot on.
Done. All right. Well, obviously, we will be back to discuss the GWS, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
GWS game.
Fuck.
Just fucking end the season, please.
Yeah. Shit.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Go the Blues.
Yep.
Go Baggers.
Go the Baggers.